Hi friends, welcome to RJ Project Control. In this video, we are going to discuss about project delay analysis. This is a very essential topic for all those who are engaged in EPC project. In the event of project delay, proper delay analysis will get necessary relief eligible to contractor in terms of project time and cost from project owner. For the benefit of RJ project control patrons, this video is prepared by compressing various voluminous references and presented here in a very simple manner. Let's go into the video. The content of this video can be grouped into three sections. In the first section, we will discuss delay, reasons for the delay, delay types, and principles in measuring delays. In the second section, we will discuss on overview of various delay analysis techniques. And the last one is the most important section in which we are going to discuss step-by-step procedure to be followed for delay analysis using key delay analysis techniques. The delay analysis technique explained in this section is having sample project schedules as well for the viewers' better understanding. To start with, let me provide some simple definitions for the term delay. Something that happens later than expected, something that is performed later than planned, an action that is not timely. Next, let's discuss on major reasons for project delay. There are numerous reasons for the project delay. The major 10 reasons for the project delay are listed here. They are ranked based on the probability of occurrence. Preparation and approval of drawings. It takes rank number 1. Inadequate early planning of the project. It's like scheduling is wrongly done with unreasonable timelines. The slowness of the owner's decision-making process, shortage of manpower, poor supervision and poor site management, productivity of manpower, the inadequate skill set of manpower, non-availability of materials on time, obtaining permits, approvals from various government bodies, financing by contractor during construction. Though major 10 reasons for project delays are discussed here, I would like to share some more common reasons for delays for the benefit of RJ project control patrons. Frequent change orders and change in design. Considerable additional work. Inclement weather, pandemic and force majeure events. Hope the word pandemic is familiar to all after this COVID outbreak. Delays in payment by owner to contractor, restricted access to project site, unforeseen ground or site conditions. Mostly, delay in EPC projects will be due to any one of the reasons discussed here. So, we have seen what is delay and reasons for delay. Next, let us discuss on various types of delays. Delay types are classified into 4 major groups as shown here. Critical delays. It is the delay that happens to critical path activities. Non-critical delays. It is the delay that happens to non-critical activities. Next is excusable delays. It is the delay in which reasons for delays are not attributable to contractor. Non-excusable delays. It is the delay in which reasons for delays are attributable to the contractor. Compensable delays. It is the delay in which the contractor is entitled to compensation. Whereas in non-compensable delays, the contractor is not entitled to compensation. Concurrent delays. It is 2 or more separate delays that occur in the same timeline. non-concurrent delays. It is two or more separate delays that occur in a different timeline. Out of these four groups of delays, second and third type delays have a close relationship, which is explained in the next slide of this video. The relationship between excusable and compensable type of delays is one of the important aspects of delay analysis. Excusable delays. Some examples of excusable delays is given here. Owner changes, unforeseeable weather conditions, different site conditions, strikes, etc. In excusable delays, the contractor is entitled to time extension and LD relief. Similarly, some example of non-excusable delays is given here. Contractor slow progress, subcontractor slow progress, broken equipment. In this type of delay, the contractor is not entitled to time extension and LD relief. Further, excusable delay is classified into two groups. Compensable delays. Some examples are given here. Owner changes, differing site conditions. In this delay, the contractor is entitled to compensation. On the contrary, the contractor is not entitled to compensation in non-compensable delays. To summarize the delay categories, please refer to this. It will make the concept furthermore simple. Excusable, compensable delays. Contractors are entitled to time extension, LD relief, and compensation. Excusable, non-compensable delays. Contractors are entitled to time extension, LD relief, but no compensation. In non-excusable delays, contractors are entitled to no time extension, no LD relief, and no compensation. Next, let's discuss some basic principles necessary for measuring delays. The first principle is only delays to the activities in the critical path can delay the project. In a project schedule, the delay occurred to critical path activities which usually doesn't have any float will delay the project. In other activities, any delay will be observed by the float without delaying the project. Once the float is exhausted completely, it will become a critical activity. The second one is not every delay to the critical path will delay the project. It may sound contradictory to the principle number 1. Let me bring clarity. If we ask project management professionals the definition of the critical path, most of them will say a critical path is the network of activities having zero float. Please refer to this sample schedule. In this schedule, it can be seen that all the critical path activities are having zero total float. But this age-old definition of critical path activities will have zero float has become obsolete. With the various scheduling software available now, we can assign various activity constraints, different calendars for different activities, etc. These features allow float for critical activities as well. Refer to the same schedule with a change of the calendar for an activity. In this case, you can observe that there is a float available for critical activities as well. Delay to such critical activities will not delay the project until the float is exhausted. Hope the contradiction between the first and the second principle is cleared over here. Let's move on to the next principle. The critical path is the longest path in the CPM schedule. This is the aptest definition of a critical path. Next one is the critical path can and does shift. In the process of updating the schedule, the critical path of the project schedule will shift, and the last one is activity delay and project delay are not the same. Delay in an activity is not necessarily causing delays in the project. Upon exhaustion of float in the respective activity, it will cause project delay. Let's see various delay analysis techniques. This chart is self-explanatory. Delay analysis techniques are broadly divided as schedule-based and non-schedule-based techniques. Schedule-based analysis has three techniques: prospective time impact analysis, retrospective time impact analysis, and windows analysis. Non-scheduled based analysis has two techniques but is not widely used in practice, and hence we need not focus more on non-schedule based techniques. We will discuss each technique in this video. First, let us discuss prospective time impact analysis. As mentioned here, the term prospective is related to things of the future. This technique analyzes the likely delay going to be caused by a future event. The future event could be a variation order expected from the client. In this case, the owner and contractor will reach an agreement for the time and cost impact before the work being performed. We are going to discuss in detail the steps to be followed for this time impact analysis technique in the coming slides of this video. This is the best technique to forecast the delay. Please note that most of the slides used in this video are self-explanatory. You may pause the video wherever necessary and go through the slides. I will add necessary extra points wherever applicable. The next major technique is retrospective time impact analysis. The term retrospective is related to things of the past. This technique analyzes the delay after the occurrence of the delay event. The time and cost impact will be submitted to the client for approval after the occurrence of delay event. Although this technique is comparatively not the best one in comparison to prospective delay analysis, this is the technique 90% of the projects will apply. We are going to discuss in detail the steps to be followed for this retrospective time impact analysis in the coming slides of this video. Next, let's discuss each type of retrospective time impact analysis techniques. The first one is as planned versus as built analysis. Here, one thing to be noted is the term as planned equates to baseline schedule. Similarly, the term as built equates to an updated schedule. This as planned versus as built analysis technique is simply a comparison of work breakdown structure level start and finish dates of the baseline schedule and updated schedule to assess overall delay and reasons for the delay. Merits. It is easy to understand and present as it does not get down into more detail. Demerits are: this analysis may identify non-critical path delays as delays for which the contractor would be entitled to a time extension. If the project is executed in a different sequence than planned, this technique will not be able to properly identify and measure the delays. This approach cannot identify and address concurrent delays. Next retrospective time impact analysis technique is impacted as planned analysis. In this technique, a fragnet, that is a fragmentary network, will be prepared with the delay events. This fragnet will be inserted into the approved baseline schedule and the schedule will be rerun. This schedule is the impacted as planned schedule. The difference in finish dates of this impacted as planned schedule and approved baseline schedule is the extent of the delay. But this method is unreliable and erroneous as well. Please refer to this example. In this as planned schedule, 2 delay events are inserted and prepared impacted as planned schedule. The difference in finish dates is 2 weeks and it is the delay caused by the delay events inserted. Here are the merits and demerits of this technique, which are self-explanatory. However, one key point to be noted is the majority of the construction contractors will use this technique only for the reason that this technique will always overstate the delay and will be used for initially submitting the time extension request to client and later it will be negotiated. Because this technique does not consider the delay mitigation actions taken. See the schedule given here. In contrary to the impacted as planned schedule discussed in the previous slide, where the delay was 2 weeks, this as built schedule shows only 1 week delay. This is because the actions taken to mitigate delay in other activities has controlled the overall project delay. The next one is collapsed as built analysis. As stated here, this technique is extremely subjective and highly probable to errors and manipulation. It is not largely in practice, hence I am not going to discuss more. In short, this technique is just the opposite of impacted as planned analysis. This technique is used where a proper schedule is not available in a project. Based on the contemporary documents, an as-built schedule will be prepared. Subsequently, durations of delayed work items will be shortened, that is collapsed. Then, the difference between the as-built schedule and the collapsed schedule will portray the delay in the project. And the last one in retrospective delay analysis is but-for analysis. This technique is also not largely in practice. Hence, I am just covering it here shortly. This is one way similar to impacted as planned schedule. In the absence of a properly updated schedule, the contractor may introduce only the owner caused delays in the original project schedule, that is baseline schedule, and will claim that but for the owner caused delays, the project would have been completed much sooner. Next is Windows analysis. Before going to Windows analysis, let me recap the retrospective time impact analysis techniques. The first one is as planned versus as built analysis, where WBS level comparison of planned and updated schedule is done to measure the delay. The second one is impacted as planned analysis, where a fragment of delay events will be inserted in the baseline schedule and the difference in finish date of the baseline schedule and impacted as planned schedule will be the measure of delay. The third one is collapsed as built analysis. This technique is followed where there is no project schedule is available. An as-built schedule will be developed with contemporary documents. Then the duration of activities will be reasonably shortened to reach a baseline schedule. The difference in project finish dates between the as-built schedule and collapsed schedule will be the measure of delay. The fourth one is but-for analysis. It is similar to impacted as planned schedule, but only the owner caused delay is highlighted. Okay, let's move to the Windows analysis. The Windows analysis method has certainly no relation with what this boy does through the window towards the girl looking from another window. just for a lighter note, Windows analysis doesn't have its own technique. It borrows one of the techniques from retrospective time impact analysis. In this technique, a rectangle box will be superimposed over the Gantt chart to demarcate the time frame. The rectangle box is called the window. The Windows analysis is covered in detail in the last section of this video. Next, let's move on to non-schedule based techniques. Although this doesn't have significance, I am just going to cover it in brief for the viewers to know that such techniques did exist. Analysis based on dollar. See this cartoon where the project owner says contractor has done highest billing in this quarter and hence the delay occurred in drawings approval has no significance to project time impact. And the contractor rightly says that high value billing items are executed in this quarter. However, delay in drawings approval by the owner has an impact on the project timeline. I think this cartoon explains this technique clearly. The crux of this technique is the mistaken belief of billing value is the measure of project timeline has to be avoided. The next technique is S-curves. This is also similar to analysis based on dollars. The only difference is in the S-curve technique, billing value and project timeline is represented as S-curve. The lag or lead between the forecasted S-curve and the actual S-curve is taken to measure project delay. With this, we have completed the overview of all the delay analysis techniques. Let's give ranking to various delay analysis techniques discussed. As the prospective time impact analysis has universal industry level acceptance as the best one, it is given with rank 1. Among the retrospective time impact analysis, considering the wide application of impacted as planned analysis, it is given as rank 2. All these rankings are based on my personal opinion only. For the window analysis technique, no ranking is given as it is not a technique by itself and borrows the technique from retrospective time impact analysis. Now we have reached the most important section of this video. That is, we are going to discuss step-by-step procedure of time impact analysis. Before that, let me share one thing with you all. It surprises me even in this modern world where we have lots of tools to carry out proper delay analysis. Even senior most project management professionals are sending time extension requests to project owners without following proper delay analysis methods. They used to list down all the delay events in Microsoft Excel and assign some duration to each event and claims time extension by summing up the duration of all delay events. It does not consider factors like concurrent delays, delays of non-critical activities, etc. Some professionals are going one step ahead. They used to narrate all the delay events in a letter and conclude the letter seeking a blanket time extension for 15 months, 16 months, etc. These are not a standard practices. We should avoid it. Let's discuss standard practice. The first one is about prospective time impact analysis. As we discussed earlier, prospective time impact analysis deals with delay events going to occur in the future. In step 1, establish a start date for the delay event going to occur in the future. The delay event could be additional work introduced by the client. In step 2, take the latest updated schedule available, which is recommended to be as latest as possible and closer to the start date of additional work. Let us consider this schedule as the latest updated schedule. Then step 3. Prepare a separate schedule for the additional work. It is a fragmentary schedule called fragnet. This fragnet shall be approved by the project owner. In step 4, the approved fragnet shall be inserted into the updated project schedule discussed in step 2. During approval of the fragnet, as stated in step 3, the fragnet's successor and predecessor activities with the updated project schedule will also be approved by project owner. Then step 5. This is the final step. Rerun the fragnet inserted schedule. The difference in project finish date between the schedule before and after the fragnet insertion is a measure of delay. Then the fragnet inserted schedule shall be saved as a revised baseline for further tracking. In scheduling software, there are provisions to save multiple baseline schedule. The original baseline schedule will be retained to analyze the delays, if any, other than the fragnet inserted. Revised baseline will be used for tracking the project schedule. If required, a Gantt chart can show both the baseline bars and current bars together. Next, let's discuss step-by-step method of retrospective time impact analysis. To carry out retrospective time impact analysis, regularly updated project schedules shall be available. Retrospective time impact analysis involves two stages of analysis. The first stage is to determine the delay due to the delay event. The second stage is to determine the scheduler induced changes in the schedule. Let's discuss the first stage. As a step 1, we shall take the updated schedule up to which there is no slippage between baseline and updated schedule. In case there is a slippage in the first updated schedule itself, then the baseline schedule shall be taken as a starting point to carry out retrospective time impact analysis. Let's say this updated schedule 1 updated up to day 2 is the starting point for us in this demonstration. As a step 2, we shall take the next updated schedule. Say updated schedule 2 is the next updated schedule which is updated up to day 5. As a step 3, in the updated schedule 1, critical activities between day 2 to day 5 are to be identified. In the sample updated schedule 1, task 2 and task 6 are the critical activities. As a step 4, analyze the net delay to critical activities from updated schedule 1 to updated schedule 2. To carry out the net delay calculation, please refer to this template. This template is a formula driven and a native Excel file of this template will be shared to those who raise a request in the comment area of this video with their email ID. Nowadays, there is software available to compare two schedules to track the critical path and arrive at net delays. These 4 steps are to be repeated one updated schedule after another till date. One more cycle of steps 1 to 4 explained here is repeated for better understanding of the viewers. The next updated schedule is updated schedule 3. The rest of the steps presented in this video are self-explanatory. You may pause this video as required and refer to the repeated cycle of retrospective time impact analysis. Another key point to be noted in this delay analysis template is the categorization of net delay. Based on the delay category, time extension, LD relief and compensation shall be concluded. With this, the first stage of retrospective time impact analysis is done. As a second stage, that is, scheduler induced changes to the schedule shall be analyzed. Whenever a schedule is updated, there are possibilities that the project finish date will get delayed. To avoid serious reactions from client in review meetings, schedulers will tend to cover the delay by adjusting the project finish date by way of changing the relationship between activities, adjusting activity durations, addition or deletion of activities, changing activity calendars, changing constraints, etc. These kinds of scheduler induced changes will also be taken into account by the delay analysts. And these scheduler induced changes can be easily identified by comparing the updated schedule with the previously updated schedule in scheduling software itself. In Primavera, claim digger option is available in older version, and schedule comparison option is available in the latest version. Similarly, in MS Project, compare projects option can be used. With this, retrospective time impact analysis is over. Next, let us discuss Windows analysis. Please refer to this green color rectangle superimposed over the Gantt chart to demarcate the time frame. It is called the window. This technique is almost the same as the retrospective time impact analysis. Hence, the same sample schedule used in retrospective time impact analysis schedule is used here as well for viewers' better understanding. Here in window 1, the schedule is updated up to day 2 and there is no delay. In the next updated schedule, the schedule is updated up to day 5. Hence, day 3 to day 5 is marked as window 2 and observed that there is a delay of 2 days. Similarly, in the next updated schedule, further delay of 4 days is observed. To carry out delay analysis, the same format used in retrospective time impact analysis can be used. With this, we have finished the last section of this video. Hope this video is useful to you. If you need an Excel copy of the delay analysis template used in this video, please subscribe and give your request in the comments area of this video with your email ID. It will be shared to your email. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video with some other useful topic, and until then, it's goodbye from RJ Project Control.